Hello everyone, I'm Paul, and in today's video I'm going to share 3 tips for cutting in the winter time. In addition to that, I'm going to show you a method that I use for cutting down trees very quickly without using a face cut, or as you call, an undercut. So there's not going to be any notch on the front of the tree. Now I'm only going to use small trees in the example that I'm going to show. The whole idea is that I use this method to help production so that I can get trees down much quicker, and I only cut the trees this method, and this type of angle that I'm going to be using is when I know I can handle the tree with my body weight and my actual strength. So anyways, guys, let's go out there in the forest and get the trees cut. As a disclaimer, guys, this is not a how-to video. This is how I do it. If you want to go and do this, you're on your own. This is your own risk to do it. I don't recommend it for anyone out there to do this. I'm just showing you how I do things. Anyways, let's get it done. All right, guys, basically I'm going to cut these 2 out here. There's not going to be any face cut. They're about, this one's about 5-6 inch diameter. This one's about a 4 to 5 inch diameter. The trees are going straight up, and they're tangled in a little bit with the big white pine, and they're tangled in a little bit with the trees that are behind. So again, I'm not going to make any face cut. I'm just going to cut them from the back, and then have them stand down. They'll just drop straight, and once they drop straight, then I can just pull them out by hand. Okay guys, I've got my trees down, no face cut, just a slanted back cut. Now I can just pick it up. Okay, that's the first one. And that's the second tree. Now, by doing this, this allows me to cut down a lot of trees really quick that are tangled up with one another. I don't have to use any equipment to pull them down. Also, it saves me a lot of time. I don't have to put that face cut in. One more tree I'll show you, and then I got a few tips there, as I mentioned, I want to show you or talk about. All right, guys, this is the second tree. This one's an ash. The first one was obviously cedars. This one's about 8 inch diameter. This one has a little bit of a path. I can actually drop it down. I don't necessarily need to grab it by the butt and pull it out, but the top of it broke off. It's not a very big, tall tree. So I'm just going to cut it on the back, and I'm going to have it go forward. I'll just push it if it doesn't want to go on its own. Now again, these are trees that are manageable based on my body strength and my body weight, that I can handle without having to put a face cut in. All right, guys, you can see that's the second tree that's down on the ground. Now it's easy and manageable to take care of the tree. Some of the trees are in bad shape. I'll just leave them there, let them rot on the ground. Other ones I'll just pull out, limb it up, and I'll just pull it out by pieces. I'll just carry them out. So anyways, guys, let's get on to the 3 tips that I have for you. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching me cut those trees in the bush. Again, it's not a how-to video, it's how I do it video. I want to share 3 tips with you that may help you out. Some of you guys may already know this, but for those of you that do not have a lot of experience, cutting in winter time, it's a little bit different than cutting in the spring and fall, where it's a lot warmer, or in the summer as well, where it's a lot warmer. So very first thing to do is to get your saw ready is that underneath the cover, near the carburetor, there's going to be a little shutter. And this little shutter, they're going to be different on just about every saw. They could be the design of it, that is, and maybe slightly the location. Anyways, but what will be similar, there will be a sun on, a sun on one side and a snowflake on the other side. So when you're cutting in the winter, you want to flip it to the snowflake side, put your shutter back in. What that's going to do is going to keep the warm air, draw the warm air near the carburetor, and it won't allow your carburetor to ice up in the wintertime. The next thing I want to let you know about is that your oil should be changed that you're using for your bar. Basically, you can see here, heavy. I use this in the summertime, and then in the spring and the fall, I use medium. And now, once it gets really cold, for the winter time, I'm using a light bar oil mix. It does make a big difference. You want to use the light one when it's really cold. And the final tip that I've got for you guys, and that is regarding your chain. When you're going to sharpen your cutters in the winter time, what you want to do is you want to take the degrees down a little bit. You don't want 35, or for like you would use for softwood, you don't really want 30. You can leave it at that, but I recommend that you put it down to 20 to 25 degrees. And when you're sharpening it up, the second thing is not to bring your depth gauges down too low. And the reason for that is that you're going to be cutting frozen wood. If you're going to have it sharpened at 35 degrees or even 30, what happens is your saw will get dull much quicker. And second to that is that you're going to get some chattering going on. Your chain is going to kind of be jumping when you're cutting, especially if you get those depth gauges a little bit low. So the other thing I recommend as well is that you get a file guide. And this one here is just a snap-on one, and it has the degrees on it. And the reason why I recommend you use one with the degrees, because if you're used to cutting, or sharpening rather, at 35 or 30 degrees, now to change that into 25 to 20 degrees, it's you might mess it up, and you're going to get a lot of uneven sharpening on your saw. So use one of these guys. It's not a matter of pride, it's a matter of doing it right. It has all the markings anywhere from 35 down, this one here down to 15 degrees. So it will help you sharpen your saw really nice. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed those 3 tips. Some of you may already know all about those things. More experienced guys definitely would. For you new guys, that should help you out a little bit for cutting in the winter time. Another thing that you could get if you're cutting in the winter, there are snow guards that you can get for your saw. You can put a snow guard on there if you're cutting in puffy or in deep snow areas, and it helps to keep the saw from sucking in all the snow coming into the carburetor, which you don't want. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, you can do so by hitting the subscription button down below. Once again, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Jellin Outdoors.